They said the husky was making the baby hysterical. They had it completely backwards. He was the only one in that house who knew what was already happening inside her. It started on a Wednesday. Their daughter Isla was 7 months old, and she had been introduced to pureed sweet potato 3 days before. No reaction, no rash, no swelling. Everything by the book, the careful, methodical book that first-time parents write in their heads and follow with devotion. Kenji and Priya Nakamura had done everything right. They kept a food diary. They followed the 4-day wait rule between new foods. Priya had a background in early childhood education and had read every current pediatric nutrition guideline available. They were informed, careful, attentive parents. Their Siberian Husky Atlas was 3 years old, with ice blue eyes and a coat that shed in tidal waves, and a personality that Kenji described as having a second toddler, but louder. Atlas had never shown any particular interest in Isla beyond a nose sniff when she was first brought home, and the occasional languid glance when she cried. He was curious about her the way cats are curious about closed doors, mildly, from a distance, without urgency. Until Wednesday. Priya was preparing Isla's lunch. She had opened a jar of pureed butternut squash, a new food, first introduction. She gave Isla 3 spoonfuls, while Kenji sat across from them with his coffee. Atlas came from the living room without being called. He walked directly to Isla's high chair and stood with his nose at the level of Isla's face, inhaling in the slow, deliberate cycling way that dogs investigate things that matter. Isla started crying. Priya said his name. He didn't move. He turned away, walked 2 full circles around the high chair, and returned to the same position, nose level with Isla's face. Cycling breath, in and out. Kenji stood up. Is he okay? He's fine, Priya said. Atlas, go lie down. Atlas turned away from her and positioned his muzzle toward Isla's mouth again. They moved him to the laundry room. Isla ate 3 more spoonfuls of butternut squash. She was fine, napping within 40 minutes. The next day, the same jar of butternut squash, the same lunch setup. Atlas came from wherever he had been the moment the jar was opened. Same behavior. Circumnavigation of the high chair, nose at Isla's face level. The refusal to respond to commands. Priya felt the first edge of something she couldn't name. He's never done this before, she said. But the behavioral pattern she had been trained to recognize, a dog fixating on a child, read to her as territorial. She had a pediatric development colleague who had written about exactly this dynamic. She called her that afternoon. Her colleague confirmed. Intervention was appropriate. The dog should be separated during mealtimes until the fixating behavior resolved. They separated Atlas during mealtimes for 3 days. On the 4th day, Kenji was traveling. Priya was handling dinner alone. She put Atlas outside before opening the refrigerator. She fed Isla butternut squash, the same jar, a different serving. She cleaned up. She lifted Isla from the high chair. Atlas was barking at the back door in a way she had never heard him bark before. Not his regular bark, something with more register in it, more weight. Sustained and without pause, Priya looked at Isla. Isla's lips had changed color. Not dramatically. She wasn't blue, but there was a faint whitening around the lip line that didn't belong. A slight puffiness at the corners of her mouth. Her eyes were glassy. She was quieter than she should have been. Too quiet. A baby who had just eaten and been lifted should be making sounds. Priya said her daughter's name twice. Isla turned her head slowly. That was enough. Priya grabbed her phone and her keys simultaneously and went for the door. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The emergency department attending was Dr. Olamide Ferreira. He assessed Isla in under 3 minutes and initiated treatment before Priya had finished explaining the timeline. Isla was experiencing a delayed anaphylactic response to butternut squash. A specific protein compound in cucurbit vegetables triggers an IgE-mediated response in a subset of infants. The reaction is not immediate, presenting anywhere between 90 minutes and 4 hours after ingestion, which is why the 4-day wait rule frequently misses it. The mild mucosal swelling building at Isla's lip line was the visible edge of a response that was progressing through her airway. Treatment was fast. Isla's recovery was complete. Dr. Ferreira told them that dogs detect IgE-mediated allergic responses through olfactory change. The specific cytokine and inflammatory compound signature shifts in exhaled breath before visible symptoms appear. A dog with a well-developed olfactory system can register those shifts at concentrations measurable in parts per trillion. Atlas had been reading Isla's allergic response every time she ate the butternut squash. He had been trying to tell them for 4 days. Has your dog ever done something around your child that you dismissed until you realized what it was actually doing? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Every circle around the high chair, not anxiety, sent confirmation from multiple angles. Every refusal to respond to a command during those sessions, not stubbornness. The inability to leave a post. Every bark at the back door while Priya was feeding Isla alone. The only alarm still running. They went home the following morning. Priya carried Isla through the back door. Atlas was waiting in the kitchen. He walked to Isla. He pressed his nose to her face in his slow, deliberate way. He held the position for a long moment. Then he pulled back and exhaled and walked to his water bowl. Every guardian deserves to be seen, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Isla was diagnosed with a cucurbit allergy. She carries an epinephrine auto-injector now. The jar of butternut squash is gone. Atlas is no longer separated during mealtimes. He still comes to the kitchen when Priya opens the refrigerator. He still checks. He will probably always check. Some things, once learned, don't stop. What has your dog learned about your family that you didn't know they were tracking? The next story involves a German shepherd who started acting strangely around a toddler's right knee, and what the orthopedist found 6 weeks later.